In collaboration with Tier 1 Comics, an all-new creative team brings the epic fantasy adventure of ROKAN to life, combining high fantasy and heavy metal artistic styles and sensibilities with the action-packed, fun world of superhero comic books. ROKAN is part fantasy, part superhero, and all metal.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Phil from Zaid Comics, and we are back. It's Tuesday afternoon, the 30th. Is this the last day of the month? There's one more day, and we're getting ready to get into another month here, and thought it would be awesome to talk about another kick-ass book on Indiegogo. ROKAN, as you just saw, ROKAN, I am a backer of this book, and it looks so cool. I'm a proud backer. The art, the story looks amazing. It's got a Preston Azevedo cover we'll get into. Just really excited to have the boys on to talk about this. Let's see, George is in the chat. What's up, George? Thanks for tuning in, man. And Leroy, what is going on here? This is crazy happening for the Zaid Comics chat. But thanks for tuning in. I just tweeted this out, so if you guys could share it around, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are not yet. Because for the next half hour, we'll be talking about ROKAN and going through all the art, talking to the creators. The link is in the description below if you guys want to follow along on the Indiegogo page. And yeah, let's get the boys in here. We have Ben and Max from Team ROKAN.
Yo.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
You're right, mate.
What's up, Phil? Nice to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I mean, these two guys, have been seeing them for a while, and especially when they've been in prep to launch this. You know, Ben reached out to me through Instagram because he was digging what we were doing here in Zaid Comics. And when I started looking at his stuff, I'm like, wow, this book looks crazy. Let's see, Pale Rider's in the chat. What's up, Zaid? You sexy mutton chop. What's up, brother? How's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, let me pull up the campaign because this art is just insane. And when I saw that this book is painted, I was all about it because I'm a huge, and you guys could tell from when I post on Instagram and stuff, I'm a huge Simon Bisley fan, and just painted comics are amazing. You know, all the way back from, you know, Batman meets Judge Dredd. I have a signed copy from Bisley as well. But look at this, like this just totally, I got to pop this out for a second because this gives me just this image here. I'm like, this reminds me of Ralph Baskey's Wizards. And
a few people have said that.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I love the vibe. And everyone I show is like, man, just the color tones, like the desert feel of this scene is so cool. But before we get into that, how did you guys, you know, meet and start working on this together and kind of like get into comics all together?
You want to take it away, Ben?
Yeah, that was destiny, really. We're massive Simon Bisley fans too, and when we started talking, there was some trepidation because we were both very particular about the tone and the feel that we wanted the book to have. And I remember Max first said to me, he's like, listen, man, I'm a big 2000 AD Greg Staples, Simon Bisley fan. That's the art style I want to do. You know, if you're not into that, then I don't know. And I was like, no, I am too. Like that's exactly what I'm going for as well. It's a funny thing because we're trying to combine that kind of like really metal fantasy landscape environment, but we want it to be really superhero-y and fun too. not that we're the first to do that. Obviously, Simon Bisley drew Lobo and a lot of superhero stuff with Judge Dredd and Batman, like you said.
Yeah.
But still, like, we want to, even Simon Bisley stuff, it's Slane on the one hand or it's superhero on the other hand. We really want to do a book that's both at the same time.
Yeah.
Dragons, swords, but also superpowers and big muscles for the top action. As far as how we met, that was kismet. It really was. I wrote the novel ROKAN, which I'm right now editing, and I'm going to publish as a novel, but I have that on the back burner now. My initial plan was write the novel, publish the novel, become massively rich and famous, and then see about making it a comic book, because comic books are more fun and even. But Destiny is put in a different order, which is fine by me, because I met the right artist, which is Max, and things have been lining up. The doors have been opening for ROKAN in the comic book world a little bit quicker. And I couldn't be happier, because, to be honest with you, I think it's easier to make an impression. The thing is, I could tell people all day long that I'm the best writer you've never heard of, and you don't believe me, and you shouldn't believe me. But I can just, you get paintings instantaneously know the quality of his work in one glance. So
Yeah.
to break in and to make a name for ourselves and to make a name for ROKAN, comic books make sense as the first move for that reason.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that, because as a writer, it's so hard to show your work off, especially to, either investors or comic book companies, if you don't have any artwork with it. So you kind of need to hook up with an artist, and you've chosen a great one, man. This is just killer stuff, and having the undertaking of just painting the whole thing is an awesome move, because I don't think anyone right now is doing that I could think of in crowdfunding.
Which surprised me.
Yeah.
That has surprised me. And I think that might be because my like the Bisley style of art is something that I was brought up on almost entirely, as far as my comic consumption was. As a kid in the 80s in a little town in England, sort of 2000 AD, and the occasional copy of heavy metal at the off-license shop down the road was the only things that you could get. Like, the idea, if somebody came into school with a Marvel or a DC title, they were swamped, because you just didn't get them. So if you did get one issue, that would be the only issue that you'd get for about 6 months before you could get another one that was probably a completely different story. Yes, mate. Yes, heavy metal.
Yeah, I found this
That is amazing.
Downtown over by me years ago, and they had a whole just collection of them, and I think this was the only Bisley cover that I found. But
he's insane, isn't he? The dynamic that he creates between sort of that fantasy classic sort of fantasy style and graffiti is
But you have your own style entirely. When I first saw your stuff, I didn't think Bisley, because yours is I feel like more fantasy. This here cover actually kind of, the only Bisley thing it reminds me is the early Doom Patrol covers he did for Grant Morrison's run.
So
kind of like that.
Crazy ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those were super psychedelic, and that's where you get all those like crazy magic elements and stuff in there too.
I suppose I kind of did it backwards with my influences, because I think I discovered Greg Staples first, who was somewhat trained by Bisley. I think when Bisley hit the scene, he had like a bunch of clones. Because he did so well. I think Greg was one of those, and then before him was obviously Bisley.
Mm-hmm.
So I traced that back as I got older. So this guy is an imprint of this guy. And then when I looked into business sort of influences, I mean, they all tend to lead back to Frazetta in the end, don't they?
Oh, for sure, man. Yeah,
So,
I just got. I'm sure you saw on my Instagram, but I just got his sketchbook, Bisley sketchbook, and this has like doodles and sketches.
And it's got your guy in, hasn't it?
Yeah. I had him do a head sketch, colored head sketch for it, and you could see just like his stuff from either the late '80s, early '90s has a bunch of just Frazetta in it, because all the look at like those with the animals, like he loves doing like panthers and stuff. It's so beautiful.
Sure. But yeah, I mean, far be it from me to claim to be anything like Bisley whatsoever. But I think that's the style I just ended up falling into because that was my artistic diet as a kid.
I'll do it for you.
That's where you sort of build your basis for style, then, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Let's see this page, and let's see. Ash and Jackal's in the chat. Thanks for tuning in. I got the heavy metal vibe right off the bat. Hell yeah,
nice one, man. Good.
And not just from the art, like the premise as well.
Definitely.
And Ben, if you want to talk about that, kind of like the
definitely
if you want to pitch the story idea.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you showed your copy of Heavy Metal magazine. I used to have a massive collection of Heavy Metal magazine. My mom all one day when I was at school, and then she says, "Oh, what are you talking about? That's not." So that was when I realized I had to move out of my parents' house.
Oh, no,
that was a heartbreaking, devastating loss. But yeah, definitely heavy metal is a big influence on me. And like you were saying, not just the art, but those psychedelic stories. I really like the Mobius stories that were in those books. So the premise of this story is clash of a clash one person between two worlds. It's man versus society. Essentially, Rokan is, as you can see at the beginning of the story, he's training to become a wizard. So he's a magic user. He's part of this society that has two gods, two kind of castes, two ways that you can live, either a follower of the older god or a follower of the younger god. And the idea behind that is somewhat inspired by the rivalry between Athens and Sparta in the Peloponnesian War. But instead of a rivalry, I thought, wouldn't it be cool if you had these two different modes of being within the same society, but as like synergistic, as like, what if they worked together? What if they collaborated with each other? So we have the warriors and the sort of the heavy laborers, and they're protecting and creating this environment where the ritual and the magicians living peacefully together with them. Without spoiling too much, what happens is Rokan figures out he has a propensity for violence pretty early on, and he gets expelled from learning how to be a wizard, and he has to go learn how to be a warrior. Only trouble is he remembers his education. He never forgets how he gets everything he learned from being an older brother. So he turns into like this expert warrior because he's like a tactician, like Alexander the Great, where he's a really clever military strategist, more so than his peers. And so he has to combine these two worlds, but he's not allowed to. It's like heretical in his religion. So he gets in a lot of trouble. Man versus society, man versus himself. And so that's the story.
That's awesome, man. A lot of awesome different elements coming in here. And just the look of this world, the cast of the characters. One thing I love, just the subtleness in this panel down here, the capes of just like they just jolt out to the side, or it just gives you that feel of the environment. Just great work on this stuff, and the character designs too, man.
Thanks, man.
So cool. And it's like a whole world you guys have built, and I can't wait to dive into it. It really brings you together and sets the scene for it. And got a kick-ass Preston Acevedo cover as well. Look at that.
Yeah, it was really weird because he contacted me like 4 days after Ben did, completely separately, and wanted an art swap. So we were like, oh well, just let's get him to do the cover for our book then. So we did. I did one for Doc Salem, and he did one for ours.
And I saw that one's so cool, the Doc Salem one. I'll pull it up in a second. But yeah, Preston is so chill, and he's always working on stuff. Like I've known him for probably since we first were putting out the first Magic Cop, and always at the art table, either painting or drawing. And yeah, he's cool like that. He's down with like art swaps and stuff. Like if he digs an artist and he wants something from you, he'll do something, do like a trade too.
Yeah, he's a proper good guy, man. He helped us out at the beginning.
Yeah, Preston's. Yeah, everybody over here is familiar with Preston. Doc Salem. He's doing. He's working on the next 6-gun Gorilla, which is gonna be sick. It's gonna be awesome. So these guys. Who are these 2 guys here on the cover?
They are both Rokan. So
okay.
So
those are both.
Go on, then, Ben.
That's what I was going to say. Damn Ben and his internet.
I know, guys. I'm sorry about that. I'm moving as soon as possible. I'm moving. I swear I'll get better internet when I do. Those are both Rokan. That's Rokan at the beginning, and that's Rokan by the end of the first arc, which will be 4 issues of Rokan for him to get to that point. We wanted Preston to do this kind of image showing the transformation, sort of foreshadowing what was going to come, and how Rokan is going to get jaded and a little bit corrupted and just turn into an anti-hero badass by the end of things. That's why, with the hat, Preston did a really cool job incorporating the hat, because it's really important for us that the hat looks like a wizard hat. We also wanted it to have kind of like a gunslinger vibe.
Yeah.
To make Rokan's a fighter also. Max and Preston both did really incredible jobs conveying that with the drawings of Rokan in his final form. I think the shadow was a big influence for us creating the character in that respect.
Yeah.
The shadow, Spawn. Who else, Max?
Slain. There's a big
shadow right here.
Shadow, yeah.
Love the shadow. Yeah, that's awesome. And
yeah,
again, just the design, like even the staff, the wizard staff, it's very unique. You want to set it apart from other things people have seen, which you guys did a great job at that. Let's see. People are praising the art in the chats. Let's get Bristolian Dave's in here. What's up, brother? Ashton Jackal says he's bought the Acevedo cover. Hell yeah!
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, and then Bass wants to know, is Mr. T in this book? I don't think so, Bass.
You can put him in if you want, mate.
But I pulled up your Doc Salem piece because this is awesome. Check this out, guys. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
On here.
I'll show that.
That is so cool. Yeah, and this is awesome because Preston's a huge Bisley fan too. He did some work for us on the Lost Pages. He did a trading card for us, and he got the Lost Pages cover that was signed by Bisley as well. So I sent that over to him. But this is, reminds me of kind of when Bisley did some Marvel covers. I don't know if they were covers, but like pinups. I remember specifically he did a Punisher one where he's like in the sewers. And I'm like, oh, this is giving me those vibes. And it's so good. And all the different monsters. Just killing it, man. This is so cool. Great
Thanks,
job,
man. I enjoyed doing that one as well.
Yeah, Max is awesome at coming up with monsters and animals. Like, a lot of times I send him, he'll be like, "This is," but instead of horse, can we like make up some other kind of animal and do that instead? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So I'm really, really lucky to get to work with someone that's this creative and this comes to character designs and animal designs, because it really it makes the sky the limit really for the story. Because see, like I said, I already wrote the novel, so I know at least the first arc, what needs to happen. But the more I talk to Max and the more we develop ideas together, it's no longer the case he's drawing the stories that I send him. It's more the case that this is now our world that we create together, as far as what things should look like, as far as what animals exist in this world, and I'm really looking forward. I want this to be an ongoing series for a long time to come, because we've got so much ready to show you, so much story already. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, I've had tons and tons of," but like it's one. I mean, is we already know like the next for the next 12 issues.
That's good.
Mapped
you gotta
out.
Stay on top of that.
You know,
and I would say
the story before I met him. Since we met him,
everyone's going to want to be hiring Max.
Concretize. Go ahead.
Everyone's going to try to steal Max from you.
Sorry.
So
I know.
Yeah, this stuff's kick-ass, man, and I can't wait to see where this goes and all the other stuff coming out from you two guys. But yeah, you guys, you got to jump on all the streams you can and make sure no one steals Max from you. Baz says this is your kind of art, Phil. Yeah, everybody knows that I love this stuff, and this like melding the fantasy stuff with superhero stuff. Love hearing that you're getting influences from the Shadow, because the Shadow is like probably like my favorite superhero. He's awesome, and I don't know if you guys saw.
He's underrated.
The character in the Lost Pages that's like heavily influenced by the Shadow, but he's like my pulp character. His name's
Masquerade. Absolutely.
Yeah, the Masquerade. So and I love like I've been reading these pulp stories, and the Jim Steranko covers for these are just so cool, and I totally want like a Steranko cover for the Masquerade. It'd be amazing.
That's wicked.
He's the best. Yeah, guys, so let's talk about what these fine folks could get. So let's see, George and Leroy in the chat says, George is here, so I'm behaving. Count yourself lucky, Phil. Yeah. Glad you guys are watching. Bullet Ninja is in the chat. Yeah, these colors, man, are crazy. Oh, I was also going to ask, Max, when you are painting these and like the pages or the cover pieces, what size are you working at? And does that differ between cover to page?
A3. So what's that in centimeters? Let me just check. A3. I always forget this. A3 size.
Oh, and what mediums are you using too? Like what kind of mediums?
So A3 is 297 by 420 millimeters, and I just use acrylic.
Oh, great.
To be fair, I've never had like any level of formal training, and I was a graphic designer for a good while in my younger years, and I knocked the artwork on the head. So it was the opening up of CG that sort of really got me thinking about whether I wanted to get on top of it. But of course, when you've been off the game for a bit, you come back and start drawing, and like I wasn't as good as I thought I was. Yeah. So it took me a good couple of 2-3 years to get back on top of being at a point where I was comfortable in showing other people my work, which is why I had a big backlog of stuff just to post up when I first started posting on Instagram.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's why I got the response. But But yeah, it's just acrylics, man, just pencils, and then I've got like one of them Japanese brush pens that I ink with.
Cool.
And I scan in the inks, print out the inks again. So I've got the inks and the paint, and then I'll paint the printed version.
That's amazing, dude. Yeah, Jaro says A3 is 11 by 16 inches. Yeah, very heavy metal 2000 AD, which are awesome influences. And it's crazy, like, there's so many Americans that are into comics and have never read like 2000 AD stuff. You know, whether it be ABC Warriors or even Judge Dredd stuff, you know, unless it's crossed over with American character. But that, like 2000 AD, they're still doing work, right? They're still putting stuff out.
I actually had I entered a competition about 2 years ago. Was it 2 or 3 years ago over here in England, and I got it was just like a 4-pager for a story that they'd written, and then the winner gets a job. And I got picked at the post by like one person, but they for the 4 people that get through to the finals, they like take your work and project it onto the wall. And they have you stand up in front of an audience, and they just rip your work apart in front of you, like. and then after that, like, if you get through it without crying, then you get a job.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm sure they're still going. Yeah, it's once a week as well. It's a weekly comic, man. They They have 2000 AD, which is weekly. The Judge Dredd magazine, which is monthly, and I'm sure they have one other. They don't fuck about, man. They just churn.
Right, and that's kind of like how the old pulps were in America in the 30s. Like when the Shadow stuff was coming out, it was a magazine. It's called the Shadow Magazine, and it would come out monthly or bi-monthly. It would be 2 a month, and the writer would be writing 2 stories a month. So for 15 years, and so there's like, you know, almost 300 stories of the Shadow that one guy wrote. And it's cool, you know, 2000 AD is doing that, still going strong. And you see all these influences, especially coming out from there, like Bisley in the 90s. And then you see guys like Jay Lee using his like inking, stippling for all the blood and stuff. So everybody, a lot of the comic guys were influenced by that stuff.
Yeah, I mean the drawback of having the mainstream was that things got uniformed artistically, which I always was confused by, because comics are art, right? So it's easier for me to understand people having a favorite artist when there's more gaps in style between the artists. I want to see the concepts run through those artists' personal filters. And I think when you have like a house style or it gets too uniformed, like, it's just boring, man. So I think that the idea that the indie comic scene is, I think it's the best thing for comics. I think you started to see loads more different styles, man. I feel like I'm spoilt for choice now, whereas before I felt like I was spoiled, but not for things that I wanted.
Right. We got George correcting me in the chat. Sorry, George. Maybe when I'm 60, I'll realize that, but I'm not that old yet. But thank you for clarifying. We got Leroy in the chat. We got William C here. Jay Money's in the chat as well. Yeah.
Hey,
Phil was trying to stay safe. There we go. Bi-weekly. I think a lot of that, you know, everything becoming uniform. You see that before, like, McFarlane got into Spider-Man. Like, they wanted Spider-Man drawn a certain way, and then he just like exploded that title, everything his way. And then once Jim Lee and those guys left, they're like, Marvel was like, oh, we got to do things like them. So then their house style changed to the Image stuff, but they couldn't do it as well as them.
Right.
So then they focused on those big artists and want everything to look like that.
And I suppose that's the natural way of things, isn't it?
Well, I think that's what's so cool.
Keep going, bud.
That's what's so cool. Sorry, that's what's so cool about independent comics and CG and all that, is that the consumer has more voice. Like, as comic book readers, we're empowered now to decide what books get made. Like, all of these for our attention, saying, this is the kind of book I want to make, this is the kind of art style that I think would make a good book. And we don't need permission to convince the seat at the top that it's a good idea. We can show it directly to our consumers, and they can decide, yeah, I do like this. Like, back in the day, I mean, like you were saying, Todd McFarlane proved that he was right and they were wrong, but he had to go out on a limb and create Image Comics to do that, and that was a massive thing. But now, in part thanks to him, we don't need permission now. I want to make ROKAN. I know it's a great story. It's plain to anyone as day that Max's art kicks ass and is perfect for a comic book. So we don't need anyone's permission. We can just do it. And if people want to read it, they'll back us. And that's already been happening, you know. We came into this cold, man. Like, when we launched, we didn't know anybody in CG. We didn't know that the way to get backers is by having YouTube podcasts. I got shit internet, which I obviously wouldn't have if I knew this is the way to get backers. But even so, we've gotten so much support in the first week. We've been going for a week now, and we're more than halfway. And that just goes to show people like to have their voices heard. And I know this because I've been back in comics before I started writing my own. I love the feeling of deciding this book is going to get made and I'm going to help because I believe in the artists, I believe in the story, and this is what I want. And at the same time, making my voice heard by what I don't buy from the mainstream that is just really not doing it for me anymore.
Yeah, man. Well said, brother. Yeah, this is kick-ass. Guys, if you have not yet, go over to here. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. It's also in the description. Even if you guys can't back today, there's a lot of days left, almost 50 days left. And what you guys can do is hit this heart button here where it'll say following. And then you'll get the updates whenever these guys throw out some updates. You know what cool stuff is coming out, and it'll remind you to pick it up if ROKAN does interest you. Because I got this one, and I also got the featured perk just because there were so many cool covers, which is not the featured one, the one with all the covers. Which one's that? I don't know. We'll go down here. Yeah, no, this is everything. So everything but the digital, and it comes with a signed print as well. So you get all 3 covers. I don't know, it's 2 different covers, is it? It's the digital, the press and cover, the regular cover, and then the signed print.
Plus a print, plus a digital.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's awesome. And this is a 24-page book. That's why it's so cheap, too. You guys are doing kind of like the floppy, right? And you're going to do a series of these books.
We were gonna do the whole first arc as a graphic novel and release that, but we got trigger happy because we've been working on it, and that we eventually decided let's release them as floppies because I don't want to wait that long for people to get their hands on this. I want to make the first issue and get it out there sooner than later.
It's a good way to do it, and especially there is definitely a market for those floppies too. I think they're cool to have. And then you could do like the collected version as well. But I had a question for Max. How long have you been working on this, and how far into this issue are you?
So I'm about, pages-wise, I'm about halfway, but the getting them done one at a time is a lot slower than doing them all in one go. Do you know what I mean? So doing all the pencils, then doing all the inks, then doing all the paintings, way easier, well, way quicker. Mm-hmm. At the beginning, we had a few hurdles to get over. One of them was because we started from scratch designing this world, and also trying to sort of come to an agreement on the style itself. it was easy for me to sort of go, no, look, I want it like this. But until you can produce a few pieces of artwork that sort of push that across, you've got nothing. Do you know what I mean? So
Sure.
I suppose I had to prove what I was what I was saying to Ben, and then after that, we then of course, you know, we had the lockdown thing. Then I lost my job due to lockdown. So yeah, there was a little bit of time taken out of it from that. But yeah, now I'm back on it. Shouldn't be an issue. I mean, and I'm enjoying doing the pages, man.
Yeah, it looks like a hell of a lot of fun, dude. This is awesome. And the cool thing is, guys, since this is a floppy, you get the book for $10. You get a signed copy for $20. They have sick prints. This is this a print?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is awesome. That is sick pinup. This reminds me of kind of I mean, barbarian stuff, of course. Kind of reminds me of Thor as well.
The way I did it,
cape's so cool. What were you saying, Ben? Awesome.
The way I did it was you can pick. I was just gonna say you can pick any of those 4 images as the print. I'm definitely going to make the tiers a little bit different in the second campaign because I can see that that's been a little bit confusing. Like, do I get 4 prints? Is this a choice? What's going on here? But I know how it works now, so it'll be a little bit cleaner on the second issue. But yeah, the idea there is you pick any of those 4 images that you want for the print. We really tried to make it accessible and affordable for whatever price range you want. Like you were saying, since it's just a floppy, we were able to make it pretty affordable. So anywhere from 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, anything, any amount that's comfortable for you. We wanted to make it accessible.
Yeah. This was
for the everything package, you know, we'll probably throw extra print. Yeah.
Oh, man.
And we're really happy because with Max being in England and with me being I'm actually in Colombia at the moment, which is why my internet sucks, but I'm usually in the States. So for me, I'll be doing fulfillment from the States, and with Max and with Max in England, I'm in Colombia because I'm hiding from the authorities. But what I was going to say is,
a true CG'er.
So when it comes to fulfillment, we've also made it really easy. Exactly. A true CG'er. So I'll do fulfillment from the States, and Max will do fulfillment from the UK. So wherever you are, unless you're really far away in Australia or something, but most of our customers, be they in Europe or America, will be able to get them the book, ship it to them pretty cheaply. So that's actually an advantage rather than a disadvantage. And like Max was saying, it took us a little while because we really took our time to get. You wouldn't believe how versions of ROKAN we went through and how many little nitpicky changes I gave Max to do.
For sure,
we got him just right.
I can imagine that.
But yeah, the pace has really.
It takes a lot of time to build like a big universe like.
Go ahead.
Decisions on character concepts, especially like if you have an idea, Ben, that you've written this huge story for a novel and stuff, you got to collaborate with your artist and make sure they're having fun with the characters and they could dig the designs as well. Yeah, this is awesome. You guys already sold some original art too. The Kick-Ass Space Turtle went for sale. If you guys want some original Preston art, the painting is here. And this is another piece of an original page, right?
Yeah. So all the coloured pages just end up as finished acrylic. So eventually, I'll probably end up putting a fair few on there.
Beautiful, man. This is so
in what format I don't know. We'll have to chat about that. But a lot of them will be available. Because otherwise, what's the point in having originals?
Let's see. Bristolian Dave in the chat says, "Do I detect a British accent?"
You do indeed. How you doing, mate?
Bristolian Dave, of course, also British.
Yeah, Bristol.
That's right. Yeah, and Bullet says lag is the villain of the day. That's right,
Yeah.
the internet connection. But that explains it. Colombia probably doesn't have the best internet connection, I would imagine.
No, it does not. Yeah. I thought I was clever. I thought I was clever living here. I'll give you the real reason. Because I work online, so I make my money in dollars. So I thought, well, I'll live in Colombia. My dollar will go a lot further there. That way, I can afford to teach fewer classes, work fewer hours, and have more time to write and focus on this project. And that's been true. But the kicker is the internet sucks. And unbeknownst to me, going on podcasts, going on YouTube, that seems like the number one way to get the word out. And so I got to fix that problem really, really soon. I just move to a different house. That's all.
That's a really crazy reason to move to a different country, but I understand it. Hopefully, you're hanging out with a bunch of hot chicks as well. Yeah, never skip lag day.
Oh, absolutely.
Lag gang days are sick.
That's
Love this page. Yeah, this is my favorite page too.
never skip lag day. Yeah, I mean, Colombia has some perks in addition to going a long way here. That's definitely better looking women, and it's definitely been easier for me. Anyways, I won't get too into that. There's other perks too. You can use your imagination. I won't confirm or deny that.
There you go, bro. That's awesome.
Fair play, mate.
Let's see, Power Rider. Hey, since you're in Colombia, can you bring me back a package for me? Yes, I'll send someone ASAP to deliver to you. There you go.
I have no idea what that means. That goes entirely over my head. I can't imagine what.
Yeah, Ben works on the internet. He does computer stuff, and he works in dollars. So, yeah. But guys, yeah, this is an awesome campaign. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, before we wrap it up, I was going to do a little update on Magic Cop. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Let's take a look at Magic Cop here. Yes, Magic Cop. Guys, we're so close to breaking 15K, which is our next stretch goal. It's amazing. We put up these new Magic scrolls. I don't know if you guys saw these.
Huh.
So it's like a poster, but it's our ash can cover. Let me show you right here.
Damn,
And
that's cool, man.
we made it
Put it on
into
rolls.
a wall scroll. Yeah, check that out. So it's printed on canvas as well. So really cool, like gritty, authentic paper. And these are going to be going out. We've been selling them pretty well. And if you guys already backed, you could go to this update here. You also got an email. You could follow the link that'll take you to the secret perk. So you could buy the scroll without any shipping on it. So kind of doing that like War Party Professor Murph gimmick that he was doing. He's running an awesome campaign right now. And then also we sold out of these amazing sketch cards. Like, you think these things are printed. I have them right here. Look at these things. Speaking of amazing colors, look at this. This is sketched and then colored with Copic markers by Booty Juice. So you guys could follow him on Twitter and Instagram. It's B00TY Juice. Look at that.
Very cool.
Mind blowing. So people, the lucky backers got those. We put out new sketch cards every week. But other than that, the next thing is going to be a new trading card, which I'll scroll down to it, by E.J. Morgis, an incredible artist who's working on Cyberfrog right now. And look at this. This trading card is the next thing to be unlocked. And so cool. Totally Miami Vice.
That's the same suit from the Duran Duran music video.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah, so my brother designed this, obviously based off of like Miami Vice, and gave him the wizard sleeves. It's kind of like the iconic gimmick to his outfit, so you know he's still a Magic Cop. He's got that magic wand.
Very cool, man.
Yeah, and speaking of Preston Acevedo, he did a really cool trading card for us as well. This is painted of our bad guy, Arsenic Jones.
I saw that one the other day.
It's so
Awesome.
fun. Yeah, so this guy's going to be snorting pixie dust and absorbing magic wands and getting even more jacked, killing pixies.
Fantastic.
So check out the campaign. Back it if you haven't yet. If you haven't read the first book, we have this reprint with a Kelsey Shannon cover. That's an awesome story about prostitutes, but they're mermaid prostitutes that are being trafficked into the city by this skeleton guy named Bone Daddy-O. And yeah, a lot of content here, so don't miss out. Each, Magic Hop 1 and 2 are over 90 pages, thick graphic novels, and then we have an ash can that goes along with it as well. Yeah, let's see, I'll probably buy a scroll. Why? I don't know, but it's weird and rare and has a cool drawing on it. That's all I'm asking for, man.
It's a good reason to buy it.
Yeah, for sure. I need to get me some scales. I think he's talking about weighing the pixie dust on a drug scale.
Yeah, pixie dust jokes. You all got pixie dust jokes. That's funny.
Yeah, that's the main plot device.
This is the first time I'm noticing. This is the first time I'm noticing the wizard sleeves on that awesome 80s suit. That's really badass. It's such a coincidence, man. Like, your Magic Cop is part cop, part wizard, just like ROKAN is part warrior, part wizard. It's like, it's so cool. Like, how these ideas just exist out there in the east, and we tap into them. But I'm a huge fan, man. I love comics.
Thanks, brother.
I got my copy of The Lost Pages already. I love it. Awesome characters, really cool story.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you back. And yeah, and The Lost Pages is still in demand. If you guys haven't checked that out yet, we still have a bunch of copies. So if you back it, we'll ship out the next day. But yeah, I love the aspect of like magic and comics, and as a writer having to give it limitations so they're not super overpowered. But the mysticism, I'm a big Constantine fan. I'm a huge Swamp Thing, Alan Moore fan. That stuff from back in the day was just some great writing.
Quality.
Yeah, me too.
People in the chat are talking about Kid Rock. I don't know why. Why wouldn't we talk about Kid Rock? I just don't understand why.
Why would we talk about Kid Rock?
I don't know, why would we? Yeah. He just had a birthday not too long ago. Let's see. Is there a Lola Easter egg in Magic Hop? I don't think so. I could ask my brother. He's still drawing some pages. George's ears perked up talking about Swamp Thing. He's a big Swamp Thing fan. I have the 2 big volume like omnibus of the recoloring of Alan Moore Swamp Thing. Well, I'll have to show you, George, sometime. So good.
Do I like Death's Head? Yeah, of course I like Death's Head. That's one of the coolest characters ever. I like anything that's over the top and metal, and my favorite thing of all is combining things that aren't supposed to be combined. So with Death's Head, like, he's a robot, but he's not a robot, and he's awesome. That's like my favorite thing ever. There's a character that nobody knows called Ranxerox by some Italian artist whose name I don't remember, Libertori or something. Ranxerox is like Death's Head, but even more indie and even more weird. He's basically a cyborg, but he's programmed such that drugs aren't bad for him, so he can just drink and smoke and do whatever he wants and still be healthy and badass. So like combining things that aren't supposed to be combined. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. And I got my put my special Lobo shirt on for you guys today.
Yeah, the main man.
Nice.
That's right. So I knew this was going to be some heavy metal stuff. Ash and Jackal will look into Ranxerox. Yeah, but getting to the end of the show, guys, I appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for tuning in. And where can people find you? Because, I know a lot of people in my chat, this is probably the first time they're introduced to your work and stuff. List out your Twitters and, if you guys have YouTube or Instagram, where can people find your work?
I'm at Headshroom on Twitter and everywhere else. If you look for anyone called Max Headshroom on YouTube and Instagram, that's me.
Awesome. What about you, Ben?
Yeah, I'm Rokan Fiction, one word on Twitter. Rokan_fiction on Instagram. Wish I could them the same on both, but I was late to the party. I'm also doing some YouTube stuff with the group called the Indie Alliance. If you search the Indie Alliance on YouTube, you'll see me. And most of my stuff's on Instagram so far. Like I said, I'm a little bit late trying to catch up on the YouTube thing and the Twitter thing. But yeah, man, I'm around.
Yeah, guys, definitely get out there. And William C. says, tell them to get on Pete's open mic night. Yeah, Peter Samedi, he's the publisher at Alternate Comics. On his, I think, personal channel,
Yeah.
It's Peter Samedi on YouTube. He does Monday nights. He does an open mic night, so he lets anybody come in and pitch their campaign for 5 minutes or 3 minutes that he did yesterday. And then George says, tell him to move to North America. Yeah, that could work for Ben.
Man, I live in North America. I'm just not there right now, but I'm coming back soon. I'm like Carmen Sandiego. You never know where I'm going to pop.
My brother needs Ben to write a letter of recommendation for Colombia to show it's safe to visit there. I'm guessing. That'd be good.
Well, the thing is, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. We like to pretend it's dangerous so that it's our little secret. It's lit here, dude. It's so cheap. You can get everything. Wink, wink. Really cheaply. I'm talking not about pixie dust, but about just like candy is cheap here, is what I mean. But like, it's an awesome place to live. It's an awesome place to visit. But I'm a little bit dubious to reveal that secret because I don't want ever to get flooded with all these other gringos. I want it to be my little secret.
Well, we'll keep it safe here on the Zaid Comics channel. And thanks again for coming on, everybody. We will, I guess we'll see you the rest of the week with something. I'm sure we'll have another stream or something. Tune in tonight. Maybe it's like in a few hours on Leroy's channel. Kenneth Rocafort's going to be over there talking about Grokan, and I guess they're going to be closing it out over there. So this guy, Grokan, it's the last day, so check that out. Kenneth Rocafort is an awesome artist.
I saw that last night. My missus was going crazy over the artwork.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, he's such an awesome talent. So guys, go watch that later, and back Rokan, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.
Easy, guys.